As a petite, these styling tips have completely changed the way I dress. So we probably know that as petites, we get a lot of advice. Wear this, don't wear this, wear this. And what I find is that this advice often limits us to a certain kind of look that may not work for our personal style. The worst part is sometimes advice does not come with an explanation. We're just meant to wear that item and hope for the best. So in today's video, I want to go through some of the most impactful style tips that actually help me understand why certain things work and do not work for a petite frame. Once we know this, we can dress according to our own personal style, whatever that may look like, but use these principles to make outfits feel balanced and proportional. It's not about just looking tall or making tall girl silhouettes work for us, but it's about embracing the things that naturally look good on us and then working with the clothing that they're selling out there and making those clothes work on our body type. With these tips, if we accidentally look a little taller, a little more elongated, I'm usually not complaining. I'm bringing you these tips today with Fabrique. They're an online clothing store with over 300 designers creating a capsule collection for them. I'm showing you a few pieces that I think are incredibly versatile from their collection, but of course, these tips can apply to clothing you already own and just allow you to see your clothes in a different way as well. My first style tip is about what not to buy for petites. And the first thing I'll say is a lot of Nordic Scandi brands create clothing that is designed for a much taller person. So let's look at Marimekko, let's look at Garni, two popular brands. When I look at the florals, they're often very large, which can easily overwhelm a petite. When I look at the stripes, they're large and blocky, which can overwhelm us as well. It makes us look smaller and we're drowning more in the clothes. When I look at the details, for example, the sleeves or the neckline, they're oftentimes very structured and very angular. The sleeves, they kind of go outwards and then they cut off like mid-arm. But it's in this boxy shape. And then the collars are often larger than they have to be. We often get trapeze dresses where the visual weight is at the bottom, and we get trench coats where the volume is so extreme, especially on a petite. So the reason I'm starting here is because there are small tweaks that we can make as petites that will make the clothing look natural on us. It's knowing what to look for and then styling it correctly. As a petite, do not be scared of proportions. So the way that we can work with proportions as petites is actually similar to everyone else, where we just need a mix of slim and boxy and of long and short. The only change that we can make is that while someone very tall can go extremely oversized and boxy, we might just rein that in a little bit for something a little bit less dramatic. Starting off with a long dress, I think petites shine in longer pieces. As long as they are not too voluminous and long collectively, it will look really great on petites. When I layer this dress, if I were to go for a long oversized coat on top of the long dress, now it's way too much and I'm drowning in these clothes. So on anyone, this is not proportionally that interesting, but other people may be able to wear it. For petites, it starts to look too much. So then we can go for one shorter item, for example, a cardigan, and that would feel balanced in this look. One long, one short. This coat, by the way, is way too long for me. I need to go get it shortened to fit. But let's just imagine here, okay? And I was wearing shorter pieces with the long coat. That would work well because again, short and long together. We're also playing with slim and oversized here, where the inner pieces are closer to the body, and then of course the jacket is larger, voluminous. So by having that mix, this outfit also works for petites. The only reminder is just to rein in the proportions to suit us. On regular people, slightly oversized will be very oversized on us. So you want to keep that in mind when you're choosing the pieces. Do not be afraid of horizontal breaks in an outfit. This is going against a lot of advice, but traditionally we think of creating elongation and looking taller by not having any breaks in the outfit. For example, a dress into a nude shoe so that it elongates the leg. But I think creating horizontal breaks can look very harmonious on petites. Tonal dressing or like not breaking the line tends to make our whole frame look like one. Whereas when we break the line, it draws attention to the different proportions on our body, you know, where our waist is, where our hips are, where our legs are, ankle. And it can also be flattering and elongating in a different way. Less visual length, but more definition. The thing here is that you don't want to cut yourself off at random places though. You want to cut it off strategically where it's flattering. This top is cutting me off at the waist, and then it's cutting me off like upper leg, and I'm using the socks to cut myself off at the ankle, and these are all kind of flattering places on my frame. If I were to cut myself off in different places that are not flattering, it would not work nearly as well. I am not saying to not do tonal dressing, because tonal dressing is like a tried-tested way to elongate. Visually, there are no breaks, we're lengthening ourselves. But the thing is, like, I don't want to be in tonal clothes every day, all day, every day. So this is an alternative. I love long clothes as a petite. I always have. Long pants, long sleeves, long coats, long everything. So one of my, rules of dressing, something I just naturally follow, is that I will have at least one long item in every outfit. It's that one piece to create elongation, to create a long looking line, and just have some continuity in the outfit. So starting off with like tank top and shorts, this is an outfit that I never feel good wearing. It's nothing about the modesty of it, it's just that I don't feel like it's very interesting, to be honest. There are so many ways to go about this, but for example, opting for a long sleeve, creating a bit more elongation on my top half and on my arms. We can go for a long pant, so creating the look of longer legs, especially because they're high rise, and I've got the smaller top. And then my favorite is the long coat. Like a almost full length coat is such a beautiful way to create that elongation in an outfit. Remember, this coat is way too long. Like, do not wear this coat this long. I need to get it shortened, but the effect of like a long coat, I will forever love. I say one long piece because remember, if everything is long, we go back to this outfit, which is of course not flattering, and we are being swallowed up by the fabric. Here is a detail to look out for. Remember at the start when we looked at Marimekko, Garni, something Scandi Nordic brands will do a lot of are trapeze style dresses and tops. I see it all the time at COS, Arquette. Let me explain why I feel like this doesn't work. It's even sometimes in the sleeves of t-shirts. It's kind of like almost like a trapeze outwards. Kind of. I think trapeze styles of clothing draws attention to the interesting shape of the clothes, but it also masks the body frame. I think as petites, what we tend to look good in is when the clothing tapers back at the end. So instead of that sleeve going out, the sleeve tapers in. Instead of the skirt flaring out, the skirt tapers in. The visual weight in the trapeze dress is right at the bottom, and it kind of drags us down visually. Whereas when it tapers back in, it distributes that visual weight throughout the outfit, making it easier to wear, more harmonious on us. This outfit here is a really good example, especially with the skirt, where it literally tapers in at the bottom instead of flaring out too much. And what this does is that it defines these points. The top and skirt here are two of my picks from Fabrique. So a little bit about the brand. They have some really cool designers working for them to create unique pieces for Fabrique. There's a mix of designers who are working at fashion houses but creating a capsule for Fabrique. And then you also have some independent designers now working to create their own collections with Fabrique. One of the reasons I love their clothing is that it is unique. There are so many brands out there, doing the same things. They actually have some very cool, unique pieces I'm not seeing all the time. This is the Gemma denim skirt I'm wearing, made from cotton lyocell. One of my favorite jeans from Levi's has a lyocell blend, and I think what the lyocell does is that it gives it more of a softer finish, and it drapes a bit nicer for a skirt. So denim skirts I haven't always gotten along with because sometimes they're structured, they're heavy. I don't feel that comfortable sitting in them, so I appreciate the lyocell, the more fluid material, in just making a denim skirt a lot more comfortable. It tapers really nicely at the bottom, and it's a fitted silhouette that gives some definition, but it's not too tight or too much volume either. I love skirts, but they can be very hard to find. I'm just always looking for a skirt that I can wear with absolutely everything. It's not too voluminous, not too slim, and I think the shape of this is very balanced and in between. Cotton lyocell, and I think the fabric is thicker It's not thin and flimsy at all. This is probably my favorite, if not my top 2 from Fabrique. Just to help you understand how partnerships work for me, I do choose the pieces myself. They're not like sent to me, I have to feature this item. I choose it always myself. I'm styling the skirt with a knit polo. I mean, I'll talk about it more later, but this piece has very small details that I think works for petites. So little buttons, the collar feels very neat on my frame, little pocket, little cables. Nothing is too big and dramatic when I'm wearing it. The length is very balanced. Everything is balanced, and that's usually what I'm looking for in my staples. The knit polo is kind of a blend of something that is quite trendy right now, but at the same time, it's a polo, it's very classic, it's a navy. So this feels like a very, very timeless combination together. I use this tip of having clothes taper in more often than I even know. So for example, with my coat, it's very straight, it doesn't flare out too much, so the visual weight is more balanced along the coat. If it flared out, the visual weight would be at the bottom. Even for this top I'm wearing, you know, it's puffy on the sleeves, a little bit bigger, more voluminous, but then it tapers in, so it works. Even this classic white knit I'm wearing tapers in on the sleeve, and despite it having a balloon sleeve, a little bit of volume, it's still very, very wearable. Embrace something delicate or dainty in your outfits. This is something that troubleshoots a lot of outfits that maybe are not perfectly suited to a petite. And if anything, it just tailors an outfit from, you know, someone average to something that actually really enhances, suits a petite person. I'm wearing this set together with more volume, and the styling thing that makes such a difference is opting for those delicate details. So for me, that's like necklace, a smaller, slouchier bag, and these make such a difference. So imagine this outfit with a big cuff or statement jewelry. It would not work, and it would not be interesting proportionally. Whereas having the daintier pieces not only balances the outfit to be more flattering, it is more interesting to look at because we've got those contrasting shapes in this outfit. This is the Aki round neck blazer from Fabrique. So this piece I've worn quite a lot already. So I've had this for months. It's not actually that new to me. There's something about this smaller round neck shape that I love. It just feels like it fits me really well in the silhouette. It is a lighter fabric, but it's not flimsy feeling. So lighter, meaning that it moves nicely on my frame and it's not too structured or heavy looking. You can see that while there's volume, it fits well on the shoulders, on the sleeves. This is of the pieces I'm showing, my number 1 piece. This will look amazing for work. Like, I would wear this for work every day if I worked in an office, and you can also wear it with jeans. Here is the matching pant. This one I actually shortened by about 3/4 of an inch or like 2 centimeters. Really minor adjustment, just so it would hit me exactly where I wanted. I like my pants a little shorter, just so I can wear it with different shoes. Something unique about this pant is that the waist is adjustable. You've got these 2 buttons at the top, so as we fluctuate, you know, through sizing, sometimes need things a bit tighter, a bit looser, you can adjust it easily with these buttons. It is quite wide-legged, but it's a light fluid fabric, so it moves around the body really well. And then the final piece to show from Fabrique is this stripe knit. I mean, stripes are a bit of a weakness of mine, but going along with this tip I'm sharing, these stripes are a little bit more delicate, they're finer. I know that sometimes stripes can be very blocky, they're larger stripes, so a bit harder to style, but because these stripes are finer, it's easier to wear for us petites. This is a true classic, it's a lighter weight material, so for spring, summer ideally, and there's really nothing this wouldn't match with. If any of these pieces caught your eye, I will have everything linked down below, alongside my discount code. Fabrique has recently launched their loyalty program, so you get some exclusive perks, and it's free to join if you'd like to sign up below. Another example of this tip of having something delicate, something dainty, is if we compare these 2 outfits. This is a comparison of what I think classic styling would look like for an average height person. You know, just go for a bag, wear the clothes, and then to tailor this outfit to a petite, I love adding in like a fine piece of jewelry, for example like mini pearls, or even like a silk cord or like a fine chain. Something small to add a daintier look to the outfit. This just makes an outfit feel like it's tailored for a petite, and it makes a bigger difference than it seems. Fabrication makes such a difference for petites. And it's not just about the structure, the style, the fabric actually plays the biggest role in how clothing is going to look on us. Let's think about fabric and its ability to create structure or fluidness. So for example, if everything is cotton poplin, everything in an outfit will hold its shape really well. Structured, voluminous, hold its shape, and conceal the body. Lighter fabrics are, generally speaking, easier to wear for petites. So when we move away from the poplin to the lighter fabrics, the jersey, it will make the clothes easier to work with. But this doesn't mean that we're head to toe in cotton jersey. How boring would that be? So it would mean for me, if I'm going for a trench coat, instead of going for this structured style, I'll go for the style I did where it's a little bit lighter, but still giving the outfit structure against like a cotton jersey. It can mean going from these heavyweight t-shirts to more mid-weights, because even that mid-weight actually looks heavy on a petite. And then going for lighter weights when I want something that looks really natural. This tip I'm talking about with fabric also extends to other materials. So if we're going for a handbag, and let's just say we need a larger handbag for work, because I'm showing a lot of small handbags, I know. Instead of like a mulberry Bayswater, which is like structured, heavy material, we can go for something a little slouchier, more organic in shape. It can be a tote bag, or we can go for something like this, where it's very rounded, circular, soft in the shape and material. Remember, you want a mix of fabrics in an outfit, but when you take everything down a notch or two, you end up getting a mix of fabrics, but they're just a little bit more natural, more flattering on our frame. Pay attention to your necklines and collars. So collars especially I want to talk about, because with Scandi brands, they often do these very sharp, larger collars. And what I find is that smaller, rounder collars tend to look better. Or maybe not better, but more harmonious on the frame. Why, you might ask? It's because think about like taller person, think about the space they may have on their body. And then when you think about someone shorter or like smaller in frame, you just have less space to work with. Therefore, those larger collars will be so much more dramatic than they are intended. And the thing is, there are so many shirts out there with smaller collars. These are not hard to find, but once you know what to look for, I think it makes a big difference. A lot of classic pieces in our wardrobe, like polos, shirts, jackets, they all have collars. So if we can make these wardrobe basics more suited to us, things are more flattering, easier to style. As petites, we can often hear the advice to avoid oversized because, it's not gonna work for us. Well, the thing is, again, we need proportions in our outfit, and oversized is a great way to create interesting shape. And in Japan, the average height is shorter, but they're wearing oversized head to toe sometimes. So here's a way to do it. Your oversized pieces still need to fit fundamentally. If it's a pant, they need to fit right at the waist. They need to fit right lengthwise. And if we can get the fundamental things to fit right, and then there's just a bit of extra shape or volume, it will still look polished on. Things fall apart on me when it's oversized and then it doesn't fundamentally fit. The waist is a bit loose, the pant is a bit long, and then with the shape, it becomes too much. Making those small adjustments, so things like length, things like the waist, when they fit correctly, it will give the illusion that this item is made for us and we're just playing with shape. For those of you who love like oversized, head to toe oversized, oversized for comfort, the more something is like boxy, wide oversized, the more the lengths have to fit right. The more something is oversized in length, the more the details and shoulders and like accents have to be right. And once that balance is there, it will still look really good. And then you'll be able to wear the things that you love. Final thing for today's video is that I think a lot of petites look amazing in some boldness. All the advice out there would have me look like this, but I honestly feel like there are so many petites where I literally stop to look at their outfit because they've just got really good style. And it's a little bold sometimes with color, with pattern, with whatever, but I am obsessed with their style. Not because it's petite friendly, but because it's got character. The other thing about petites is that oftentimes they can have more youthful, playful energy and like appearance features, so that they can pull off more vibrancy in their clothing that some other body types may not be able to pull off as easily. So playfulness in stripes, in color choices, in accessories, having those like fun, quirky options is something that a lot of petites can pull off really well. And throughout today's video, there are lots of things that petites can wear extremely well. This is something that petites can also shine in that other people may not be able to do. There are so many things that petites maybe don't suit, but there are also so many things petites do suit. Small prints, not everyone can pull that off as well as us. Not everyone is going to look as good in that balance of short and long together. Not everyone are going to look good with shirts with smaller collars, smaller details, in like micro accessories against classic shapes, softer fabrics, slouchier structures. Not everyone can pull that off, but a lot of petites can. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found some of this helpful. I'm so grateful for your support in today's video as well. I'm working with Fabrique today and I'm always trying to create the very best tips I can and share them with you, especially in my videos where there is a sponsored section. If something did catch your eye, they will be linked down below along with sizing, and the link to join the newly launched membership program will be down below. You'll get some exclusive member perks and you'll be able to earn points as well. I hope you have a lovely week ahead and I'll see you next one. Bye.